Good evening, hello and welcome. You're with the news today, your primetime destination news. Newsmakers, talking points, our big talking point this Tuesday night. Influencers have been booked for obscenity. Is the government overreacting in targeting YouTubers? That's going to be a big talking point. Also, Donald Trump's tariff threat. What should India be doing? How should we be responding as the Prime Minister is on his way now in a few hours from Paris to Washington? And can Arvind Kejriwal keep his flock together? An important meeting of his party of Punjab MLAs takes place in the national capital. But first, the story that's been making headlines, especially across social media and even in Parliament. A YouTube shows judges, the show called India's Got Latent. Judges from episode 1 to 6 have been booked. These are mainly YouTubers, influencers, podcasters. Among them, Ranveer Alabadia, who has a large number of followers. Samay Raina, Rakhi Sawant, all of them booked. The panelists Apurva Makhija and Chanchal Nani have been booked. Remember, the show's host, Samay Raina, is out of India at the moment. A YouTuber has recorded his statement. The police have reached the houses of some of these YouTubers, asking them to record statements. FIRs have been filed, including in Assam and several parts of the country, accusing them of obscenity. This followed certain sexually explicit statements and remarks that were made during the show, and the National Commission for Women has also stepped in. I want to go straight across to Divyesh Singh, our correspondent in Mumbai. He's tracking what the Mumbai police is doing. Divyesh, the Mumbai police, we are told, has reached the houses of some of these YouTubers and started questioning them. What is the basis for their so-called investigation? What is the police trying to achieve?
Well, Rajdeep, there is one inquiry that is going on in Mumbai, that is at the Khar police station. Khar police station is the area under whose jurisdiction the show was shot. The show was shot at a location named Habitat, which is located in Khar, and that is where the show was shot. That is why Khar police station is conducting inquiries, and they have also started recording statements. Meanwhile, the Maharashtra Nodal Cyber Police Station, which is also called as Maharashtra Cyber, has registered an FIR against 30 to 40 people associated with the show. All the guests, all the organizers, hosts who have attended the show from episode 1 to episode 6, all have been booked for insensitive comments, for highly objectionable comments made on the show, and all the episodes, not only one episode, not only the latest episode after which the outrage happened. Maharashtra Cyber has booked the 40 people for all the episodes.
Am I correct?
Episode 6, the organizer Samay Raina, Ranveer Alabadia, who was a guest on the show in the 6th episode, Rakhi Sawant, and there are several others who have been booked, Apurva Makhija, and several others who have been booked, and summons also have been issued to them. They've been asked to appear before Maharashtra Cyber Police Station. Meanwhile, Khar Police Station has already recorded the statement of Ashish Chanchlani, and they are in process of recording the statement of Ranveer Alabadia and others.
Okay. Divyesh Singh telling us that all these YouTubers have been booked by the Mumbai police. This is action which has led to a very divided opinion. And I want to join this debate right at the very top. Why would you make the story of the obscene remarks of a popular YouTuber the top story on the 9 p.m. news? Surely there's so much more in the world to discuss. That's right. That's a question we debated at our morning news meeting today while setting the news agenda. But I'll tell you why we decided to make this a top story today. Not because of what Ranveer Alabadia, better known as Beer Biceps, actually said. But in my view, the reaction to the stories by our law enforcement authorities and the way the state apparatus is moving makes this a story which is extremely important. We are in an age of social media armies and YouTubers. We now have people on social media calling for the arrest of Ranveer. The government of India has got YouTube to take down the videos where those inappropriate remarks, as they are being described, were put on. Wonder of wonders, the Mumbai police, as I said earlier, reached his home today to investigate. FIRs being filed across the country. To be honest, I find it extremely bizarre. Across this country, when people make the worst form of hate speeches that incite violence, we don't see these kind of strong reactions. The police has literally to be goaded into action. But here a content creator's joke that has gone wrong, for which he has apologized, has led to this outrage. Yes, what Ranveer Allahabadiya said, the sexually explicit remarks, were completely inappropriate, unacceptable. But should you have this kind of reaction to it? Really? Isn't there the hypocrisy of people who will share pornography in their WhatsApp messages, but now want Ranveer Allahabadiya to be arrested? And please don't forget that the same Ranveer Allahabadiya was only last year awarded a Content Creator of the Year, awarded by none other than Prime Minister Modi. In fact, most BJP ruling party ministers were rushing to do podcasts with him ahead of the 2024 elections. So I ask, why so much kolaberi, so much anger now? Take a look at our top story and then we'll talk about it.
Trouble mounts for YouTuber Ranveer Allahabadiya and comedian Samay Raina. The episode of India's Got Latent, in which Ranveer Allahabadiya, aka Beer Biceps, made an obscene joke, has been removed from YouTube after a government directive. A team of Mumbai police also visited the residence of YouTuber Ranveer on Tuesday. Multiple FIRs have been filed against the 31-year-old influencer in Assam's Guwahati and Maharashtra's Mumbai. A case has also been filed against other panelists on the show, including Samay Raina and Apurva Mukhija, known as the Rebel Kid on social media. The issue echoed in Parliament as well.
ओटीटी प्लेटफॉर्म पर कोई भी सेंसर नहीं है, उनको दिशा नहीं है, उनके कंटेंट पे कुछ भी दिशा नहीं है, कुछ भी पॉलिटिकल के बारे में कुछ भी अनाप शनाप बातें करने की ये जो रिवाज चालू है, इसके ऊपर सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट ने ध्यान देना चाहिए और सेंसर लगाना चाहिए.
Parliamentary panel on IT could summon Ranveer after many MPs objected to the controversial clip.
I'm going to take this up with the committee, and I would want that there should be stricter guidelines and stricter punishment measures for such disparaging remarks that are used so loosely, especially when such impressionable minds, young minds, follow such YouTubers.
The National Commission for Women has taken cognizance of the controversial comments. Social media sensation Urfi Javed has defended Ranveer and Samay Raina. Actor Rakhi Sawant urged everyone to forgive Ranveer for his comments. Singer B. Prak, on the other hand, slammed Ranveer Allahabadiya, calling his remark pathetic.
ये कॉमेडी है. This is not at all comedy. ये स्टैंड अप कॉमेडी है ही नहीं है. और ये रणवीर अलाहाबादिया, आप सनातन धर्म को प्रमोट करते हो, स्पिरिचुअलिटी की बात करते हो, इतने बड़े बड़े लोग आपके पॉडकास्ट पे आते हैं, इतने बड़े बड़े संत आते हैं आपके पॉडकास्ट पे, और आपकी इतनी घटिया सोच है.
The row over Ranveer Allahabadiya's controversial joke is likely to blow up further, with political leaders demanding action against him and others who appeared in the show. Bureau Report, India Today.
Okay, influencers booked for obscenity. I want to raise some big questions. Is the government overreacting? Does obscenity fall under free speech? Should there be regulation or censorship, as some would call it, of digital content? Should it go unregulated? Let me go to two guests I'm joined at the moment. Sanjay Sahai is a former IPS officer, has looked at cyber security, and Apar Gupta is advocate and director, Internet Freedom Foundation. Also joining me is Rahul Ishwar. He's a Hindu activist, and I want to come to each of you one by one for your first comments. Rahul Ishwar, let's turn to you. Do you believe that the government should be acting against these YouTubers, be booking them, or do you believe that this is complete overreaction?
Absolutely no, Rajdeep sir. Strong action needs to be taken. I was one of the first complainant, and Mumbai's Joint Police Commissioner Satyanarayan replied to me and forwarded my complaint to DCP of Mumbai. I'll see to it that an action is taken because this is unforgivable. I'm a Hindu right-wing activist. I have all the sympathies with Veer Biceps, who is a center-right person. But ethics is something we cannot compromise on. Whether we belong to left, right, or center, Hindu, Muslim, or Christian, doesn't matter. We all should be united in this. Family and faith are something that are absolutely
but one minute.
Nobody...
He's apologized. He's made a remark. Look at, isn't it an overreaction? I mean, all of you want FIRs to be filed. You want him to be arrested next?
Rajdeep sir, please remember, we have to create an example. I am father of 2 children. I am worried for their psychological health. One of my child wants to be a YouTuber. He's only young right now. Had he been 15 or 16, what kind of content he will be consuming? And you may remember, I was, in spite of being a Hindu right-wing activist, I filed a case against Satvi Prachi for her Islamophobic comments. We are all responsible citizens of India first. And there are some Lakshmana Rekhas no one should cross.
Okay,
and
family values is what we... Oh, okay, one minute. Family values is what we are hearing, Apar Gupta. It brings to focus, and that's why I made it the top story. At the heart of it is, are there lines to be drawn when it comes to free speech? Do you believe that this is a restriction, an obscene remark made on a YouTube show should immediately lead to FIRs being filed and those involved being booked in the manner they are? Does it reveal in a way the way we approach this YouTube world in a sense?
So, Rajdeep, I have 2 points to make. Firstly, there are boundaries to free expression, and these boundaries quite often should be on the basis of how does that speech actually result in real-world harm. And this is why, if you look at quite often hate speech, which does lead to violence, there are clear requirements, even under international human rights law or all over the world, or even in America, where they say there's absolute free speech, there's a restriction on what is called as fighting words. The second point I want to make is that what we are noticing is a level of moral outrage. It is a social panic, because it is not only this show, it is how much people have started relying on YouTube and have been watching it for long periods of time. And we are overreacting. We are losing a sense of proportionality. Look, there has been an offensive joke which has been made on a very popular show. There is a social reaction and a social outrage, and there will be financial impacts in terms of loss of sponsorships, in terms of loss of audience and reach. And there is already apologies by many people there. They have discovered. Is this fit for legal prosecution, criminal investigation, given the amount of resources we have? Police not being able to investigate daily crimes of theft, murder, and pickpocketing. And I will stop here with my initial comment.
Okay, let's turn to the police officer, Mr. Sai. The police surely has better things to do. There are lots of real criminals out there whom the police needs to track. Here they seem to be going after these YouTubers, almost being driven by the social media outrage. Should social media outrage result in FIRs being filed?
I'll start with your opening remarks. And your opening remarks were whether there is duplicity and hypocrisy in our legal system, and how well and how badly do we use our legal system. There's absolutely no denying the fact that there is duplicity, there is selection, and in the nature of way crime is implemented and the law is implemented and it is executed and taken through the process. So that's point number one. Point number two, before getting into the police's time or lack of time or capability or expertise to get into matters of this kind, the community guidelines of YouTube very clearly says that there should not be hate speech and explicit sexual content.
So shouldn't it have been YouTube? So shouldn't the responsibility have been on YouTube in the first instance?
If the YouTube does not react, it cannot be left to the wild that nobody reacts on it. And if YouTube does not react, who will bring YouTube to book? YouTube does not fall under your area of responsibility or legal area of responsibility. YouTube also is supposed to, as per their guidelines, to factor in local laws. Whether local laws have been factored in or not, that's a different story altogether. The crux of the matter is the monetization of YouTube at a scale which is really mind-boggling. That from there the whole thing starts. we come to the legal and ethical boundaries of comedy. So these are the opening remarks from my side when coming to the police part of it. Just because there is a huge amount of outcry in the social media, which is spilling over to the regular public.
No, Mr. Sai, my point is, has the police acted only because there is this social outrage? Otherwise, they wouldn't have acted. I mean, across this country, you have pornographic content being shared widely. No, I don't see the police acting in every case here because the social media outrage is there. There's a popular influencer. The police is being driven by that.
See, I'm not getting into the debate whether police has been acting in a very fair manner in literally all the cases. That is not my case. There has been no denying the fact that law has been selectively used. The powers that we have selectively used the police, and the legal processes cannot be told to be completely fair in the manner it is done. In this case, as in most of the other cases, when there is an outrage, the police react. Police is somehow even forced to react. So the political leaders and the outrage, and there is an understanding that this will play against the political establishment or the governmental machinery or the society at large. And that is how we have come to this sort of a response.
Can I bring in Rahul Ishwar? Just the point that Mr. Sai made, there's a selectivity. I can give you lists of hate speakers in this country who get away. Some of them have even become MPs and MLAs in this country. I don't see the police landing out at their door. I don't see Rahul Ishwar filing criminal complaints against them. You're jumping up and down now saying family values have been violated. Yes, he made inappropriate remarks. Yes, the YouTube video has been taken down. What is the need to arrest people?
Rajdeep sir, yes, hate speech has been made and we should act against it. I have myself earlier made it clear. I have complained against Satvi Prachi and people of their sorts. Extreme Hindutva is not good for a nation. Similarly, extreme Islamism. We need to take action. But please remember, two wrongs don't make a right. Here, I admire, Allahabadia for his center-right leaning stance. I'm a Hindu right-wing activist myself. But there are some sacred cows that you should not violate. Some sacred vows that you should not violate. Family and faith is that. And he has crossed that cardinal line of invoking family. Even in his apology,
so
he said,
want him to be jailed for it? You want him to be jailed?
We want him an example so that the future YouTubers will not follow that line. Nobody is going to say that he's going to be jailed for 3 months, but some sort of model action that will be an example for others to follow should be there. He has lost 2 million followers and he will definitely have repercussions. Many people are cancelling
That's fine. He's losing followers. You're calling for penal punishment against him. I see you, as I said, many people in hate speech are in our parliaments and assemblies, which is unfortunate in my view. But Apar Gupta, Section 67 of the IT Act says punishment for publishing or transmitting obscene material in electronic form shall be punished on first conviction with imprisonment, which may extend up to 3 years, and a fine which may extend to 5 lakh rupees.
Yes.
Do you believe that this law is that the IT Act is the right way to go?
I think not only the IT Act but also the BNSS, which does contain the offense of obscenity, are not well suited to modern India. And this is not because I would say that people by themselves have changed. While the Supreme Court has changed the standard on how people should be prosecuted under the law and have made it more liberal. According to the Supreme Court in 2014 in a Avik Sarkar judgment, they said that Boris Becker appearing in a magazine shoot with his naked wife does not constitute obscenity because it needs to be judged by the contemporary prevalent social standards, and if female nudity in pregnancy by itself is being depicted, it is not obscene. So the intent needs to be taken into account. The second thing I would just like to say is that when we look at how people are receiving most of their media diet, however they are watching, for instance, even if this show is they're watching it most possibly on their mobile phones, a smartphone, or on an OTT streaming device, and they can very quickly switch away from it. These laws are remnant of a time when there were a limited number of books, but only, for instance, you could find a wider collection in a library, for instance. You could only watch 10 to 20 television news programs. Today, you have the facility of just clicking, switching a tab, flicking your finger, and coming to something else. I would like to remind people, it was only 10 to maybe 14 years ago, where all of us were engaged in the same cyclical moral outrage around a very popular Punjabi singer called Honey Singh. There were obscenity cases filed against him. And even at that time, it was being said that social boycott would be the best outcome if we as a society decide that something is indeed offensive, because it differs from person to person, Rajdeep. What is offensive for one person is content for the next one.
You know, there are those, of course, who will believe that the right to offend is part of the right to free speech. But Mr. Sai, does the police really keep up with the times? As Apar pointed out, there are now millions of YouTubers out there. They are sending out all kinds of videos out there. Is the police really in a position to define what is obscenity and what is not?
See, police need not define obscenity. Obscenity is defined in law. And police will go with whatever is defined in law. And which is finally, it talks about obscenity is anything that corrupts or depraves public morality. Now, this is a subjective thing. Police, as per the powers it has, based on the FIR which is registered, will investigate the case and put it to the court of law based on the evidence available. It will charge sheet the case if the evidence is available. If the evidence is not available, it will not be charge sheeted, and it will go through judicial scrutiny. What all of us are trying to do is that we want the case not to happen.
I'm not saying case should not happen. Apar Gupta has made a good point. Socially boycott him. That's a better way. You have a problem with what he has said, don't watch it. Just socially boycott him.
That's perfectly
unfollow
fine.
him.
I am 100% with Apar Gupta. That if you don't want to watch, you don't watch, and I don't watch. But the point is, if there is a complaint which comes to the police is duty bound to take that complaint. And once registered, it becomes the first in.
Yeah, but you know, the problem is the police is very selective in when they act and when they don't act.
I'm not denying the fact that police is selective.
Yeah, but you admitted that the speed with let me just raise that to you there, Rahul Ishwar. Why not if you feel so strongly, socially boycott him? The point is this penal action, getting the police into the act, going there, arresting him, summoning him, all of this is intent to almost create some kind of a chilling effect.
No, two submissions. One, like Pop once said, this extreme relativism is the greatest danger of our times. You cannot have this extreme relativism, which will in effect lead to nihilism. We need to have some sort of standards and guidelines and Lakshmi Rekhas. We cannot live in an anarchy, and nobody can crack parents and sex and that's kind of a joke in one sentence. That is absolutely offensive. Please remember, can I use the same arguments against hate speeches? If you don't like a speech, don't listen to it. No, hate speeches poison the mind of the people and can lead to violence. Similar perversion can poison the mind of youngsters and lead to other very consequential negative actions. So let us be honest about it. Any kind of perversion or hate speech is unacceptable. Family and faith are two Lakshmi Rekhas no one should cross.
All I will say is I believe that our police surely has better things to do. They're already overstressed, overburdened. There are surely hundreds of other things that the police could do than start chasing up YouTube videos. Yes, what was said was inappropriate, unfortunate. The man has apologized for it. You don't like him, socially boycott him. Do you really need to send the police to hound him is the question that I raise. I'll leave it there. I appreciate my guest joining me on my top talking point there. Let's turn from there for someone else who's always in controversy. Look, over the next 12 months, the news won't happen just here in India. It'll happen, well, in good old United States of America. The US President Donald Trump gives you a headline a day. Every day he's issuing executive orders, making dramatic announcements. Simply put, he has the world on tenterhooks. So what are we going to do here on the news today? We are going to start what we are calling the Trump tracker. Every day we are going to track what the US President is up to and what it means for people in this country. Now Trump has acted on a threat and slapped a 25% tariff on steel and aluminium imports. This, remember, could affect India. He's also paused the enforcement of a law banning bribery in foreign land. This move affects American companies and citizens for now, but it could also bring relief to the likes of Gautam Adani, the business magnate who was indicted, remember, in an American court not too long ago. Trump has also threatened to stop all aid to Jordan and Egypt if they don't take in Gazans. He further claimed today that Gazans won't have the right to return once the US takes over the land under a peace plan. And lastly, this one is interesting. He's just signed an executive order bringing back plastic straws. He just justified his decision, saying paper straws explode. Now, all of this is coming on the back of Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be meeting President Trump on Thursday. and the issue of tariffs will be top of the agenda. Let me go to Managing Editor Business today, Siddharth Zarabi, to understand all that's happening, because Siddharth, the Sensex has already crashed over 1,000 points with Trump's tariff threats. Is that fall linked to this uncertainty being created by these tariff diktats of the US president?
Absolutely, Rajdeep. In fact, this is the fifth straight session of fall in the Indian markets, and very clearly the fear of a global trade war beginning in earnest is what is driving negative market sentiment. The latest instance of the threat of tariffs, which are supposed to come into effect from the 4th of March, is not directly impacting Indian steel or metal producers. Because exports from India to the US in that category are perhaps less than 100,000 tons every year. The real issue is dumping of steel and allied products into the Indian market. Because when there is capacity in different countries which are hit by higher tariffs, for example, China, the fear is, are those products going to end up in India? And that seems to be driving the market reaction at this point of time, because the markets don't know how far this will go, what will be the reciprocal actions. Already various other countries, China, the European Union, are saying that we will also go down this path. So a global trade war is feeding into fears even on the Indian stock markets.
But is there a fear that there is more to come? Or is there a hope that the Trump-Modi meeting this Thursday might address some of India's concerns?
Rajdeep, despite President Trump having spoken about India's so-called high tariffs in the past, in the recent few weeks, we haven't seen any specific action that targets India directly. Having said that, it's very clear that as far as India is concerned, certain preemptive measures have already been taken, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi's meeting with President Trump by itself, perhaps amongst the only few global leaders, only a couple ahead of him have met President Trump so far. This is going to be very, very crucial. The recent budget has already streamlined import duties further. Some of the announcements will benefit companies like Tesla, Harley-Davidson, or even Apple. There is a review of almost 30 other items that is being looked at. And as far as India's key ask or offer on the table will be to pick up the strands from Donald Trump won when he was the president earlier, when India and US had done a lot of work on a limited trade deal. Hopefully, the meeting between Prime Minister Modi and President Donald Trump should see a revival of that, and a limited trade deal would go a long way in ensuring that India does not face adverse fallout on account of his tariff actions in the rest of the world.
Okay, Siddharth Zarabi, giving us a sense of what it means, what Donald Trump's potential tariff war means for India. Appreciate you joining us. I'm joined by Atul Kashyap now. He's President, US-India Business Council. Appreciate you joining us. Mr. Kashyap, give us a sense. Do you share Siddharth's hope that the Trump-Modi meet might address some of these crucial concerns that are being raised? Every time Donald Trump puts out a tariff threat, the markets get spooked.
So, Rajdeep, first of all, I think that it's very important that Prime Minister Modi is among the very first leaders to visit President Trump in Washington in the very early days of his second administration. That is not an accident or a coincidence. I think it is a reflection of how important India is and how much regard there is between President Trump and Prime Minister Modi. So on that basis, and that basis alone, a very great deal can be achieved. And what my organization, the US-India Business Council, has persistently called for is ambition between both governments and both leaders in order to break through some of the plateau that has been experienced by US-India trade and to take us to the next level. At the end of the day, we're two of the most dynamic and robust societies on earth. Our economic growth is much better than our other competitors and peers. And so we ought to double that. We ought to unleash the animal spirits of both of our free nations. And I think that both leaders can do that if they work seriously on some of the issues of concern on both sides. And this is where friends meet, they talk. I'm a diplomat. Talking's what we do, but the talking should be toward a noble purpose. And if that means that we can achieve a limited trade deal that unleashes the capabilities of both of our societies and helps us ensure our stability and security, then both leaders will have done a great service to America, India, and the world.
But with due regard, we've been hearing of this limited trade deal even in Trump's first presidency. Didn't happen. Do you believe things will be different? If anything, Mr. Trump this time seems more inclined to get tough with the world and possibly India as well.
Well, diplomacy is based on reciprocity. And what the president and his advisors are talking about is reciprocity in terms of their tariff treatments. And if you look at the situation in India, you know, U.S. companies and the U.S. government have for a long time felt that India's tariffs and non-tariff barriers are some of the highest in the world. And they make it very hard to increase the volume of trade and prosperity for both of our countries. So this is where, you know, friends have to understand where we're coming from. They have to understand our perspective, and then we can work as friends to try to address these issues. I think that if India actually reduces some of its tariffs and non-tariff barriers, it'll actually help Indian companies become more globally competitive. It'll drive more FDI into India. It'll create more jobs. It'll be good for both of us. And so I think President Trump has a point. You know, we ought to talk about reciprocal treatment.
So you're looking for a win-win. A report by Nomura says India is considering reducing tariffs on more than 30 items, increasing its purchases of U.S. defense and energy products. There will be those out here in this country who will say that India is bending backwards to appease the United States, that we are sort of almost spooked by Trump and therefore are ready to do whatever he wants.
Well, that's a political spin, and I don't agree with that. I think that the U.S. and India, as the two greatest free countries on earth, ought to be looking always at win-win outcomes for both of our people. And I think that's the perspective from Washington, and that ought to be the perspective from Delhi and Mumbai and other parts of India. There is a lot that we need to do to break through all of these bureaucratic barriers that tie us down, frankly. And if you see how much reinvention is happening in America to make government operations more efficient, maybe that kind of introspection can be good. I mean, think about all of the ways that we sort of take for granted our stagnant trade relationship. I'm impatient to break through that. Governments have that power. And so the idea that, you know, on the spin that you offered, I don't agree with it. I think that governments should take proactive steps to optimize their economies and ensure the efficiency and productivity of their economies by taking systemic reform steps that are good for the people and good for the government.
Okay, I'm going to leave it there, Atul. I appreciate you joining us. We'll hear more from you and others in 2 days from now when Prime Minister Modi is in Washington. But for now, thanks very much for joining me there, the president of USIBC. Okay, let's turn to the big domestic political story, and it concerns the Aam Aadmi Party, which is still recovering from its loss in the national capital. Tremors being felt now in Punjab, where, remember, there's an Aam Aadmi Party government led by Bhagwant Mann. Remember also, the Punjab Congress has just claimed that over 30 AAP MLAs are in touch with their leaders. That was the claim made by Pratap Singh Bajwa, the Congress leader who will join me shortly. Meanwhile, Arvind Kejriwal held a meeting with his Punjab party MLAs and Chief Minister Bhagwant Mann in Delhi. The meeting lasted for almost 30 minutes. Sources telling India Today that during the meeting, Kejriwal asked the MLAs to concentrate now on 2027 Punjab polls and saying that the AAP leadership was strong and intact. Chief Minister Mann also lashed out at the Congress, saying the Congress should stop worrying about what is happening in Punjab. Let's listen in first to Bhagwant Mann.
प्रताप बाजवा पिछले 2.25 साल से यही कह रहे हैं, तो उनको कहने दो, उनके पास है नहीं. उनको बोलो जी हमारे विधायकों की बात गिनती मत करो, अपने गिन लो दिल्ली में कितने हैं तीसरी बार. तो मतलब वो तो कहते रहते हैं, पहले भी कहते थे 40 आ रहे हैं, 20 आ रहे हैं. ये इनकी फितरत है, कहने दो. उनके यहाँ कल्चर है इधर जाने का, कभी उधर आने का, कभी वापस आने का. मतलब एक उनका नेता है, वो ढोल बजा रहा था कि आम आदमी पार्टी हार गई, तो नीचे कमेंट आ रहे थे कि भाई साहब ये जीरो पे ढोल बजा रहे हो कि आपकी जीरो आई है तीसरी बार. तो अपना फिक्र नहीं करते, दूसरों में नुक्स निकालते रहते.
Okay, as we said, we are going to, on the news today, get an inside track from our reporters today. Amit Bhardwaj, who tracks AAP for me, joins me. Amit, appreciate your joining us. You were there at that meeting. What's the sense you get? Mann says all is well, and the Congress claims that several of the MLAs of the AAP are in touch with them. Where is the truth there? Is Mr. Kejriwal's hold over the Aam Aadmi Party in Punjab slowly slipping?
Well, Rajdeep, if you look at the numbers in Punjab, the Aam Aadmi Party has nearly 93 MLAs right now. They, even if 30 MLAs, so to believe, go to the Congress Party, they will maintain the brute majority in the House. So there's no point of these MLAs shifting sides. Having
But
said
were they
that,
all firmly with Mr. Kejriwal today?
Yes,
Did you get a sense that for now they're going nowhere?
I believe they are intact. The entire Punjab unit is intact, and the control of the central leadership also remains intact, because what is keeping them intact is the fight for power. 2027 battle seems even more nearer now. The reason being Delhi debacle. Along with that, there is a need within the, if you look at the Punjab unit, there's a lot of talk about over-centralization by Bhagwant Mann and the complaints of the MLAs, so that needs to be looked into as well. There is also a sense within the MLAs that rupees 1,000 financial aid scheme for women needs to be rolled out. I believe that it will take another year for Punjab government to roll it out, but Arvind Kejriwal and his party is in control of Punjab unit right now.
But is Mann in control, or is Mr. Kejriwal remote controlling him?
I think he has been given fair amount of freedom as well, Rajdeep, honestly. I mean, we have seen how even in the past, when Congress was in power, Captain Saab would run the unit independently with a lot of freedom. So Mr. Mann has his control. Yes, there were problems with certain chapters, which has been dealt with now, I believe. And for instance, Finance Minister Harpal Singh Chima, he is running the state with all his freedom and with the way he wants to run it. So the state unit is free, but yes, they will remain under control as any other party reports to Delhi.
Okay, we'll wait and see whether Arvind Kejriwal continues to retain his control over his Punjab MLAs. Amit Bhardwaj for joining us there. Thanks very much. Let's raise that question. Is the AAP government in Punjab really under threat as the Congress claims? Can Mr. Kejriwal keep his flock together? Are AAP's rivals plotting a coup against them? Well, one of those rivals is now joining me. Pratap Singh Bajwa is leader of the opposition in Punjab. Appreciate your joining us, Mr. Bajwa. You've been going on record saying that 32 of the 90-odd AAP MLAs are ready to jump ship. Today, Bhagwant Mann said Mr. Bajwa is known for spreading falsehoods for the last 3 years. Nobody is leaving AAP. Are you simply trying to fish in troubled waters after the Delhi debacle of AAP?
Rajdeep, I am an experienced politician. I'm a person who has more than 40 years of experience in the state government. I've been a minister with 4 chief ministers. I've been the PCC president, not the CLP chief. Being a member of both the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. Do you think I will just flip? If people are not in touch with me, why would I say that? And not even once did I ever say that we are looking to unsettle this government. But obviously there people feel that we have become MLAs, but we don't have a future ahead. There's no future with the AAP. I'll just inform you, Rajdeep. In the last parliament elections, in assembly they had won 92 assembly segments. In parliament they came down from 92 to 32 seats. From 42.5% they came down to 26%. And in these recent mayor elections and municipality elections, they could not even win even a single. They didn't get a single majority in the whole of the state.
Mr. Bajwa,
so the MLAs know for sure that the only future they have is to tie with some other party. So they
Mr.
are in
Bajwa,
touch with me. I never said I'm going to destabilize this government.
No. Mr. Bajwa, I'm reading between the lines. You're saying you don't want to destabilize the government. You don't want to unsettle it. But the moment AAP has lost in Delhi, you've gone on record saying MLAs are ready to switch sides. What are you trying to prove? You're simply trying to send out the message that this AAP government can fall. You are fishing in troubled waters. Come on, Bajwa Sahab, be honest.
No, Rajdeep, this is totally incorrect. Because, see, what had happened was, this news was there almost a year earlier too. They had asked me that time also, and I said, yes, more than 30 MLAs are very much in touch. But they're all colleagues of mine. They have worked under me when I was the Pradesh Congress president. They are totally dissatisfied. The chief minister is not available. All dictates are coming from Delhi. And at the ground, people are totally disillusioned. Rajdeep, you would be surprised. I think so. Diwali पर भी उतना भंगड़ा नहीं पंजाब में हुआ जितना केजरीवाल के हारने पर दिल्ली में हुआ है.
You know, Mr. Bajwa, it is being said that this is all kite flying. Today we spoke to Mr. Maan. He said this is absolutely untrue. You are trying to play mischief. What is the proof you have that these MLAs are in touch with you? Give us some proof.
Not at all, Rajdeep. It is basically the central government. See, this man is in touch with the BJP since the last 1 year.
Which man?
It is the central government. It is the BJP which will try to destabilize these guys.
You're saying Operation Lotus has started in Punjab? Are you telling me that the BJP is trying to take MLAs? I mean, you know, one side you're claiming 32 MLAs are in touch with you. Now you're saying Operation Lotus is on in Punjab?
I'm talking about Bhagwant Maan. He's in touch. See, there's a cold war going on between Arvind Kejriwal and Bhagwant Maan for the last 6 months. Since the time this guy went into jail, Arvind Kejriwal went into jail. So that is the time when Bhagwant made merry over there. He was the real chief minister. Because whatever they were making out of deals in liquor, in mining and other things, CLUs and others, that whole booty was then being kept by Bhagwant. Earlier it was sent to the center. Now after Arvind came back, again they pulled his strings. They caught a hold of his arms and his legs. They tied him over there. So now basically that cold war is there between them. And now after Arvind has lost in Delhi, so Maan feels they want to dislodge me. And that is exactly the reason why they are in touch with the Bharatiya Janata Party. It is the Bharatiya Janata Party, it is the BJP government which will try that Maharashtra experiment in Punjab.
You're saying BJP will try to make Maan into another Eknath Shinde. Now we'll wait and see what happens, but I want to ask you in conclusion. Are you telling me, therefore, irrespective whether it's your 32 MLAs you claim of AAP in touch with you or the BJP's moves, Punjab is in for political upheaval? That's what you're claiming, right?
No, not at all. I stand by whatever I say, and the time will come, Rajdeep. Let the proper time come. I will get those 32 MLAs before you. But we are in no way trying to dislodge this government. Why should I bring in those MLAs and their names today? I'm a seasoned politician. I can't be naming people who want to basically join us at a later stage. But dislodging this government is not the agenda of the Congress. It is the agenda of the Bharatiya Janata Party. And this experiment is going to start in a couple of weeks from now. Just wait till a couple of weeks from now. The whole, and you understand, couple of months earlier, they specially organized a Punjab session over there, and they said they are trying to win over MLAs. A case was registered in Chandigarh against the Bharatiya Janata Party by this very government. And Aman Arora, who is the party president now, went and lodged a FIR in one of the police stations.
Okay. Let's leave it there.
They said it is Operation Lotus which has started.
Okay, I'm going to leave it there. Whether there's an Operation Lotus on the anvil in Punjab, we'll wait and see. But clearly, Mr. Maan, Mr. Bajwa, you seem to be very happy to see the plight of the AAP at the moment, and I'm going to leave it there. I see Congress smiling at times, even more than the BJP is at the loss of Aam Aadmi Party. I think that says it all at the moment of where the opposition stands. Let's turn to tonight's Get Real India story. It comes from Wayanad, where the human-animal conflict seems to be rising. Attacks by tigers and elephants are on the rise here in Kerala. Victims are complaining but say the authorities are not helping them. Tonight's Get Real India story from Wayanad from our correspondent Shibi Mol.
Tigers and elephants. Many villages in Wayanad are living in fear as attacks by wild animals are on the rise. People in the region are up in arms after the death of Radha, victim of a tiger attack in Manantawadi on January 24. Radha's husband, Achappan, a temporary watcher with the forest department, says she was caught by the tiger while on her way to the coffee plantation.
പകുതി വഴി വരെ കൊണ്ടാക്കി 10:15 ഇങ്ങനെ ആയിക്കാണും. അന്നേരമാണ് നമുക്ക് കോൾ വരുന്നത്. ഇങ്ങനെ ഒരു മൊബൈലും ഒരു കത്തിയും ഒരു ചെരുപ്പും ഉണ്ട്, പിന്നെ ബ്ലഡും കണ്ടിങ് അറിഞ്ഞു.
Radha's body was found in a mangled and half-eaten condition, following which the Kerala government issued an order to kill the man-eater. The tiger, however, was found dead later. In another tribal village in Manantawadi, Vasanti and Kali are living examples of the human-animal conflict. Vasanti has been bedridden ever since she was attacked by a wild elephant.
ആന തട്ടിയത് വരവ് പോകുമ്പോൾ എൻ്റെ കെട്ടിയവനെ ഓടിച്ച് ആന അത് ഓടിച്ചിട്ട് പിന്നെ പുറകിൽ വന്നിട്ട് എന്നെ തട്ടി അങ്ങോട്ട് കടിഞ്ഞു. പിന്നെ ഓടി ആന പിന്നെ കണ്ടിട്ടില്ല.
In the neighboring house, Kali, victim of an elephant attack, bemoans lack of government assistance.
ഒരു പൈസ കിട്ടിട്ടില്ല. അവർ കൊടുക്കാന്ന് പറഞ്ഞിട്ട് ഇന്ന് കൊടുത്തിട്ടില്ല. ചീട്ടയൊക്കെ ഇവിടെ ഇക്കട്ടെ ഉപ്പിട്ടിട്ട് ഇവിടെ വെച്ചിട്ടുണ്ടെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞിട്ട് പോസ്റ്റുകാർ കൊടുത്തിട്ടില്ല.
The government has taken steps like fencing to prevent animal attacks, but villagers say that is not enough.
Now, the most frequent method used to sort this issue are the electric fencing, and you can see behind me there are poles that set up, and there are strings, very thin, transparent kind of strings that's hanging from the poles as electric fencing, and this entire region, the border, is being covered by such strings as electric fencing. Now, this is effective to an extent when it comes to blocking the entry of larger wild animals like wild elephants, but when it comes to the other animals like tiger or a wild boar, it's not very easy.
The main problem is there's an increase in the number of wild animals in our forest area. Sometimes the animals which are not able to get their own food of their own because of the health reasons, they may find it easy as a prey for them, or the areas in which human do the cultivation, they find it very easy to access to their food. And once they get easy prey, they will definitely go for that.
Animal attacks in Wayanad have become a political issue. Congress MP Priyanka Gandhi Vadra recently visited families of tiger attacks victims. She urged the centre and state government to take steps to check human-animal conflict. The ruling left government claims the Central Wildlife Protection Act of 1972 needs to be amended for effective control on wild animals. With Shivi Mol KG, Bureau Report, India Today.
Okay, from there, let's come to today's India Today fact check. Today, we take up a video that's doing the rounds claiming to be from the Mahakumbh. How true is the claim? Take a look. AI Sana tells you more.
You are watching Fact Check segment where we bust fake news. Amid heavy crowds and viral videos, one clip claiming to show a massive crowd at the Mahakumbh in Prayagraj has been circulating widely on social media. The video, with the caption, "Other Side of Mahakumbh," sparked concern, but a fact check by India Today revealed it's not from Prayagraj. Instead, the footage, taken on 1st January, shows a crowd near the Sri Radha Rani temple in Barsana, Mathura. Reverse searches led to a post by spiritual leader Shyam Sundar Goswami, who confirmed the video's origin. It was misleadingly shared as footage from the Mahakumbh, debunking the viral claim. This fact check on viral fake news is done by India Today's team of
Okay, let me turn to today's good news, today's story. As I leave you today, tulips are blooming in Bildanga in West Bengal thanks to Rupesh Das, a school teacher. After researching and overcoming challenges, 90% of his tulips are flourishing. Rupesh spends 3 hours daily gardening, following successes with apples and saffron. Tulips are our good news today's story. You stay well, stay safe. Good night. Shubhratri. Jai Hind. Namaskar.
Tulips are blooming in Beldanga, a town in West Bengal's Murshidabad district. All thanks to Rupesh Das, a school teacher who pursues gardening as a hobby.
ट्यूलिप के लिए सबसे जो जरूरी बात है अच्छा सा जो बल्ब है ना ट्यूलिप का, ये तो ट्यूलिप का बल्ब अच्छा होना चाहिए. अगर ये ख़राब होता है ना तो कभी नहीं होगा. दूसरी बात है ट्यूलिप का करीब 150 से ज़्यादा प्रजाति है, उसमें से करीब 10 या 15 जो ट्यूलिप है यहाँ पर अच्छे से हम खिला सकते हैं। तो इसके लिए जो चाहिए ट्यूलिप के लिए 1 महीने या 1.5 महीने के लिए जो ठंड जो वेदर है वो चाहिए।
Rupesh planted tulips usually found in cooler climes after much research.
एक्चुअली इसके लिए थोड़ा बहुत तो कल्चर करना पड़ता है, मतलब थोड़ा बहुत जो गूगल के हेल्प है, जहाँ पर हमने बल्ब खरीदे थे वो भी हमको 2-3 टिप्स बताए कि ऐसे टिप्स फॉलो करो। और 2-3 बात ऐसी है कि जब आप कुछ चीज़ पे अगर 100% ध्यान लगाएंगे ना तो ऑटोमेटिकली आपको ऐसा आ जाएगा कि हाँ ये हम कर सकते हैं।
Rupesh spends up to 3 hours gardening every day after school. His early experiments included growing apples and saffron, which were also successful. With Gopal Thakur in Murshidabad, Bureau Report, India Today.